Welcome to another episode of the Move.Talk.Thrive podcast. Today is going to be a really punchy and potent episode. We're going to give you some key takeaways that you can implement straight away into your life, business, practice. Today, we are talking about wearing all the hats. This is relevant if you're a business owner, a mum, or pretty much do more than one thing, which is all of us. So let's get stuck in and look at how we can prioritize, manage our energy, and wear all the hats without burning out. We are child development obsessed business besties and mums, and we're here to spill all our secrets.
We have a combined 30 years experience working with children, and each episode we will bring you up-to-date research and evidence-based strategies to set your children up to thrive.
I'm Lizzy Dawson, Australian exercise physiologist.
I'm Emily Mackey, Australian speech pathologist.
And this is the Move.Talk.Thrive podcast. Hello.
Hi, I feel like it's so nice to do an episode with you because, like, just you and I, the last couple of episodes have been with guests, which we love guests, but it's also just nice to chat you and I. And then we had time off, and then I think you did an individual episode. So this is you and I for the first time in a long time.
Yeah, I know. In ages.
Nice.
I feel like we've been talking, but just back to like old school days on Voxer, and pretty much have been talking about this very topic, which is, juggling all the things.
Yeah, I put on my Instagram a post and I have a visual of hats and I just have like next to the hats, speech pathologist, advocator, report writer, parent coach, I have all the things that we would do as a speechy, and I say, it's our job is more than just being a speech pathologist. We wear all these hats, and it always gets so much engagement from everyone. It really resonates with people. And I always get so many DMs, comments, reshares on this one post. So it's a hot topic, or a topic I feel that a lot of people can resonate with.
Yeah, I think it's relevant because I don't think it really matters what you're doing. You're always kind of, wearing in a few roles, I guess, whether that's like personal roles of wife, daughter, mother, sister, carer, and then of course in work, there's so many different responsibilities. And I think, that's just another word for wearing the different hats. But it's very, very relevant in your own business. And it's something that I think, we've navigated over the years. And it's something I've spoken about a lot because I felt like at the beginning of my journey in business, I was wearing all the hats. And I think that led to, health issues and complications and burnout. And interestingly, I've been wearing all the hats. And there's a few kind of key strategies that I have utilized in the last little bit, because there's no way. This is like, I'm working currently harder than I've ever worked before. I'm wearing more hats than I've ever worked, but I actually feel okay. It is not sustainable, but I feel okay. And so all those lessons along the way have clearly been working.
Good. That's good. We don't want you burning out again, Lizzy.
Oh, I'm holding on. It's a fine line.
I feel like it's always a fine line, isn't it? I feel like that's the downside or the weakness of having a lot of drive and being driven and wanting to achieve and having really high goals and expectations for yourself. One, the positive is it really serves you and it helps you find that purpose and it helps you achieve things. But the downside is you're always on a fine line, aren't you? Walking a tightrope.
Yeah.
It's also because you've got lots of things going on personally as well.
Yeah, and I think we've spoken about that a lot, haven't we? Like you have said, if things are really busy with the work, then personally, you've got to kind of, balance that out. And sometimes, you know what, you just can't. Like sometimes it is just outside of your control. So it's like, what can we put in place to, or what are the key considerations when, sometimes it is out of our control. So how can we maintain our health and our well-being whilst balancing it all? And I think that's the most important thing, because when we don't have our health, we
No, we
literally
can't
can't do
serve anyone or
anything.
help anyone. One thing that I find really helpful, this is how my brain works, is I like to group all my tasks together. And so sometimes that looks like on a daily basis, like or a task basis. Sometimes that looks on a week basis, depending on how I'm working and what I'm doing. But sometimes I'll be like, all right, so say I had 5 days to work. I would be like, okay, on Mondays, it is going to be speak about days. And then on Tuesdays, it's going to be academy days or PLA days. And then Wednesday, it's going to be community days. So sometimes I find that batching mentally helps me to stop switching. Even though in those big days, you're switching between tasks, the thread is still the same.
Yeah.
Now, more recently, because I'm not working 5 days a week consistently, or it's all miss out like different hours. What I'll do is I'll just batch my time now. So it's on a smaller scale. So I will continuously do like PLA stuff in the morning. And then in the afternoon, I will do speak about things. And in the middle of the day, I'll do Beanamo things. So that helps me when I've got to wear different hats. So because in all of those tasks, they're all different companies. They all relate back to children and speech pathology, but my role in the companies is different. So I'll batch in terms of what my role is. And I think that's probably what you said at the start. And this is what it says in Seven Habits is you need to actually identify your roles in your life first and then set your tasks. So I guess that's probably what I'm doing is I'm going, all right, my role is in Speak About to be the boss or to be the strategist or the business coach. That is that part of my brain. To do PLA, I'm like inventor, content creator.
Mm.
I am speechy. So that's another part of my brain. And then with Beanamo, I'm doing more business stuff. And then I'll do speechy stuff. So I'll divide Beanamo into another two things. But anyway, does that help you? Like, how do you batch?
Yeah, I do. Well, I used to batch in days. Now I'm batching in hours, I feel, because it just got to the point where I needed touch points more frequently on each of the different projects. So, but I still am fairly set. So I'm at my Northside clinic on Mondays, and I'm at Kids Heart Pilates on Tuesdays, and then Thursdays I interchange between the two, and
Mm,
Wednesdays and Fridays I'm at home. So I think like that's in a sense batching,
mm,
and that's when I like on Mondays I have one touch point. I have a huddle with the Kids Heart Pilates girls in the afternoon, but otherwise I'm 100% focused on Northside. And then I've got the flip on Tuesday. That has been working really, really well for me because I find it's just a boundary, isn't it? Like batching is just a boundary around that time. In my team, where I've found communicating that really helpful so that I don't feel like I am trying to be everywhere at once. And I'm like, I'm at Northside on Monday. So if I don't get back to the Kids Heart Pilates girls, then they're aware of that. So I think that that has been really helpful. The other thing I think that has been really helpful, which I think is like another form of batching, and this has been relevant for me because I've actually, this last quarter and a bit, I've actually been doing admin in both of my businesses as well, which it has been 4 years since I have touched admin in either of my businesses. So that's been huge. And so what I actually did, which has been really good because I'm now transitioning out of that admin hat in both businesses. And what I did was I did a roles and responsibilities for all of my positions. So CEO of both of my businesses, and then I did admin for both of the businesses. And then in my schedule, I basically time blocked it in each of those roles. And I had the tasks that I was working on in each of those time blocks. But why that is working really now for me in terms of transitioning is my calendar is like chockers, but I'm literally picking up my clinic coordinator or KHP admin time block and putting that into my new admin's calendar. And so that job description and roles and responsibilities went into the calendar into different time blocking. I'm now just picking those parts of the calendar up and putting that into her calendar, which has been really good from an onboarding perspective. So I'm just going through the schedule. She knows in terms of how, like, what she's doing when, and also just knowing how much time I've needed someone to come in and support me, and then just handing it over. It's a really kind of clean,
It's a
um,
system.
yeah. And that's
Mm.
working really well. I'm after this podcast, I'm going through and just fine tuning that so that
Mm.
everyone knows when she's working on what and for how long, so that again, it's just aligning those expectations. But that's been a really nice transition for me to experience, and it's really exciting that I am getting it out of my calendar. I'm pretty excited about that. Not gonna lie.
Is it white space or is it just filled up straight away?
No, it will be a bit of a combo. So there's certain things I haven't been able to do that I will step back into.
Mm.
And yeah, I've got a few more hard weeks. And then mid-June, I should be a bit of white space and yeah, pivoting
Yeah.
a little bit in terms of what I'm doing. But it's been a really interesting process because I didn't think I'd be able to cope with this much work, and I feel like it's been okay. Like, it's been a lot. I could not do it long term, but it's
Mm.
been okay, and it's been okay because I have prioritized the things that need to happen, and bench the things that are just not like blocked, and created boundaries, and I've communicated to the team so that I don't, and it's good for them to know, I think, but it's good for me to know that they know for my own
Yeah.
mental health, if that makes
Yeah.
sense, because I don't feel like I have to overcompensate and be everywhere.
I think that's really important, particularly when you're the owner or the leader of something. You feel really accountable for everything all at one time, and that's just physically impossible. So that communication does really help. Um, I think with the systems or with the blocking, um, the main thing there is that you don't waste unnecessary brain space,
Mm,
because even though you sort of think through something once, and then if you keep doing the same task over and over again, don't keep wasting brain power on it every single week. Like you've said, instead of like if you've got to switch hats in a little way, you just have it systemized to reduce the amount of decisions that you need to make and the stress around that. So I think that is a really powerful strategy as well in itself. If you find yourself in whatever role you're in doing the same thing over and over and over again, don't let that take up your brain space. It's not
mm,
necessary, and so just systemizing it um, is how you handle those things. Like you said,
yeah.
like you didn't think you'd have the capacity to, but because you've systemized things, you're not having to give unnecessary brain power to things that aren't important, and you can give it to what is actually important.
Yeah, it's just really clear. So I step into it and I'm like, right, what am I doing now? That's right. And it's already done for me. Like, that
Yeah.
map's already done for me. And if I'm not
Yeah.
doing it, I know what I'm not getting done as well, I think
Mm.
is the other
Mm.
thing. So I can pick up later and go, okay, I haven't done these specific things and I know exactly what I haven't done
Mm.
for a while. The other thing
Mm.
I'll say about batching, I get comments quite a lot. They're like, how do you do so much social media? Like, how are you on social media so much? And I'm like, you know what? It's actually not very hard. And I don't know whether have we spoken about what we do with social media?
I don't think so.
No.
Not on here, I don't
Um,
think so.
no, maybe not. I actually love my social media process. And we both got this from Tina Tower when we did Tina Tower's group. And it's been a game changer for social media. I actually
Mm.
enjoy doing social media. I was talking to Lorraine, my mentor, the other week, and I'm like, oh, I've got social media in my calendar tomorrow. And not sure how I'm gonna, block that, like batch that time out. And she's like, well, it's probably, doesn't need to be a priority. And I was like, oh, don't take my social media away from me. I like that. That's my, like, it's because it's
Yeah.
creative.
Yeah.
It's,
You have time to
it's,
think through what you want to
yeah.
do.
It's
Yeah.
good. It's
Yeah.
I and then you see it all come to fruition and I like it. I really
Yeah.
enjoy it. But the reason I can do, multiple posts a week is because one, I batch it.
Mm.
So I've got it down to like half a day.
Hmm.
And I do the copy. So I batch it and I also outsource it. So I do the copy of it and the explanations of what I want. I hand that over to Casey, my lovely VA. She does all the graphics and I then approve it and then she schedules it. Is that still what you're doing?
That's what I do. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I love my social media days because
Yeah.
I've found that they've turned into like a planning day as
Yeah.
well because social media or when we're talking about social media, we're talking about like Instagram, Facebook, whatever is on the
Content.
forefront. So I do also my emails then, a lot of different things. And so all of that is like a planning, like you're putting
Mm.
all the pieces together and you're going, okay, what am I talking about this month? What is my focus? How do I want to help people? Oh, I might create this freebie for people. Oh, I might create this template. Oh, and then we'll use that this month, So it is totally creative,
Yeah.
but we don't have a time, like it's blocked out, but we've given ourselves enough time so that we're not stressing, like because
Mm.
the creativity requires that time. So it's a creative task, which is nice, I think, when you're in the day doing admin tasks and everything's very time bound. So,
Yeah.
but batching, it's like giving yourself enough time to actually do things well.
Mm.
So it's not just like, oh, I've got to be completely efficient all the time and I've got to put everything in like there's some influencers that I've seen and they like recommend putting everything in 15-minute
Oh,
blocks.
no.
And I like tried that and I almost
Yeah.
had a breakdown. I was
Yeah.
like, this is not possible. So it's just blocking out and giving yourself enough time and space to do things really well and to do things how you want them to be done properly, I guess.
I think what you need to probably master with your time blocking is and when you're working on lots of different projects is being able to work on a project and then stopping and then moving to something else. And I think what you need to do to be able to do that is have a big picture plan that you're chipping away at,
Mhm.
a tracking method or system. Like I use my Asana, and so I can come in and out of projects. And you you need systems, which I guess this is one of. But I think that's actually really, really important to be able to come in and out of projects and have a system or a process in place where you know where you're up to. And, for my social media, for example, I've got certain themes. So on Monday, I'm talking about whatever it is I'm selling, what my offers are. No, Monday, sorry, is podcast. Tuesday is my offers. Wednesday is a reel. Thursday is podcast. Friday is like a quote. Saturday is something child development. Sunday is personal. And so I've got like a calendar and I do all the personal posts. And so I go down and do all the personal posts. So I'm like
Mm,
in that mind frame. And then I'll do all the child development ones and I'll
mhm,
go back to whatever piece of material or content that I'm pulling it from, and I'll do all of that. So then I can look at it in a calendar and see which ones I've done, and I'll try and kind of do two rows or what I'll do a complete row. And if I had to step out of it, or even like for a lunch break, step out of it, and I'm like, okay, I'm coming back and I'm doing all the reels now.
mm,
Um, but I think you need those systems in place to be able to step in and out of it, because when you're working on lots of different projects, it's about chipping
mm.
away at them, um,
I think that's
which
a
is important.
really important thing to consider and know because a lot of people are very gifted at tenacity, which is getting projects over the line. In
Mm.
Working Genius, that's what T is. And So some people like who are really good with that then find it difficult if it's a really big project. So it's aware and it's having a lot of discipline and setting the boundaries, right?
Yeah, and having
Um,
the system in
yeah,
place so that
yeah,
for someone like
yeah,
me that I'm not tenacity, I'm not a finishing off project, so I can have lots of different projects. But I have a process to I get it to a certain point, and then I hand it over to Casey, who finishes it off for me
yeah,
because I won't finish
yeah.
it off. So I think outsourcing is another huge one.
Delegating. Yep.
And outsourcing, yeah, delegating and outsourcing, having a support team, and doing that in a timely manner. I think for me and where I've landed myself, which hopefully I won't do too many times again, is not outsourcing soon enough. And I think what that has done is it's cost me my time. Like I've had to really step in, and now I'm onboarding two different admin and two different businesses, and it's really pulling me in different directions. And it's a real balancing act, to be honest. Had I have onboarded a month ago, I would be in, white space land right now. So that's a really good learning. And I think that's a bit of a scarcity mindset thing of mine. I'm like, okay, I'm going to get in there and I'm going to do it. I can do this and learn it and understand it and save some money at the same time. And I think that has cost me in other ways. And it's a bit of a red flag or sticky point for me that I need to watch.
It's whatever you say yes to. You're saying no to something else.
Mm.
I don't know. There's different seasons and different times for doing different things.
And benefits of all of
Um,
it as well.
there is, and I mean, I did everything in Speak About for a very long time, but when I started the Successful Speech Academy and started doing my course, the PLA, I knew that I needed to have someone, on my social media helping me with that. Otherwise, I wouldn't have the tenacity to keep going with it. So, I didn't delegate with Speak About, but I delegated there. You know, I delegated early, very early. Like I sort of delegated it from the start. It was one of the first things I did. So, it's just different seasons and it's just different decisions, but it's knowing what your strengths and weaknesses are and where you want to go and how you want to achieve that. And like I said, what you say yes to, you're saying no to something else. I think probably for me as well, I make sure I have a bit of a mental transition. So if you're going through tasks, I will make sure I put like my breaks in. So, say I'm doing a 1 hour session on vision and strategy for Speak About, and then I need to jump into writing a course, like I'm working on my evidence-based course. That's an ongoing thing. In between those two things, I won't just like, okay, finish the vision and strategy with Michael and Bree, and then in the next second jump into research. I go, actually, no, there's that. I'm not actually going to work very well. I need to give my brain just like a bit of time to mentally switch over and recharge. So I will make myself like go upstairs and make myself a cup of tea because it's really
Yeah.
easy then to then go, all right, well, I'm just going to pull up social media. I'm just going to scroll here. I'm just going to check my emails. Everyone thinks emails are these light work, but it's
Mm.
still work. Like I'm
Yeah.
just going to check my emails. Whereas I'm like, no, I need to incorporate movement.
Yeah.
You'll love that, Lizzy, but I
Yes.
need to.
Yeah.
So I just go and make a cup of tea. I get a little snack and I make myself go away from my desk. And then I find it's like maybe 2 minutes, 3 minutes. How long does it take for the kettle to boil? By the time I come back, that's been a mental transition and I'm ready to go into the creative task, which was so different to what I was just doing. So it's having a mental transition. I make sure I tell that to Bree and Sal as well. So if Sal's coming straight off a client, and needs to step into a leadership meeting. So sometimes we have strategic meetings. I say to her, you need to either schedule 10 minutes between the meeting or you need to make sure that you have something like for 30 seconds there before you step into the meeting. And I say that to Brie as well, particularly the hat of mentoring or coaching someone. And if you're already doing admin tasks, it's like doing a task, then doing a person. That is the hardest hat to switch from sometimes. So it's you've got to have
Mhm.
something there to get your brain ready.
And what I love about that, and I find I actually do the cup of tea a lot lot as well. But I also find that I've got this association with having a cup of tea and sitting down to starting something new. So it's like I've got my
Yes,
cup of tea. Like,
yes.
so if I sit down at my desk to start working
Yeah,
or like from that little break, if I don't have a cup of tea
yeah,
or a drink, but usually a cup of tea, that's my like the cup of tea is like brain is
yeah,
on and I'm like ready to work. So it's kind of like this association, which I guess is a
yeah.
transition into, a new project or activity.
I'm exactly the
Um,
same. I always have a hot cup of tea.
yeah.
Even
How
at the
good is
start of our
it?
podcast,
I
I have a
know. I
hot cup
don't
of
have one
tea.
now, but I've got my water.
You drink
So
water.
yeah, because I'll have a cup of tea after this when I like get into my final like
Yeah,
slot of the day.
yeah,
Um,
yeah.
but yeah, I just find that that is such a thing for me. Like, because I up at Kids Heart Pilates, I've got these, and it's green and lemon tea that is like really potent for me in terms of this association. But I ran out of it at Kids Heart Pilates,
Ah.
and I was sitting down, like trying to sit down and start the day or start the next block of time, and I'm like, I don't know what to do. I don't have my cup of tea. I need to get my cup of tea because it's just
Mm.
such a thing for me now.
Like centering for your brain. Sometimes people say
Yeah.
outfits do that. Like if you're working from home, like putting on a blazer
Mm.
or doing something. Like for me, it would be putting on my speak about shirt puts me into a clinician mode and things like
Mm.
that. So but it's the association of something. So a cup of tea, a piece of clothing, whatever it is,
Yeah.
helps that mental transition as well. It's funny how our
Yeah.
brains work, isn't it?
Yeah, it's so interesting. And I think it's particularly relevant if you're doing a task that maybe you don't want to do or that is a bit hard. So for me, I have days of sales calls where I'm doing outreach to kindergartens. And I feel like I really have to make an effort with how I feel that day in terms of I need to put on like nice clothes that make me feel really professional and confident, and I need to make sure that I blow dry my hair, and I've made an effort with my hair and my makeup because I kind of sit down and I'm like, right, I know what I'm doing. I am attractive. I am like going to bring this work in. I can talk really confidently. So
Mm,
it's just all those little hacks, I think,
mm.
that make a big difference.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So we hope that this episode has helped you. A little quick one for us. Normally we do a lot longer. But if you're wearing all the hats, we hear you, we feel for you, keep going.
We
But
are
making
you.
sure, yes, we are you. Yes, we are you. We're not just talking to business owners here. We're talking to if you're in a leadership role, even as a clinician, you have so many different hats that you wear. So I think it's being conscious of the hats that you wear, conscious of then what you need as a person, what your strengths are, where you need to improve, and then actually putting some proactive strategies in place to help you transition and to help you bring the best for every task and activity that you need to do in your day. If you have any questions, as always, send us a DM. If not, we're looking forward to chatting to you in the next episode.
Bye.
Bye.